Abidin, and I'm going to present my final year project, which is a self-assessment tool for measuring the readiness of Malaysian manufacturing industry to implement Industrial Revolution 4.0. The background of the study is Malaysian manufacturing industry is now one of new player in Industry 4.0, and most of the Malaysian manufacturing industry are stuck in between Industry 2.0 and 3.0. Therefore, it need the right support tool to identify their readiness and capabilities. Next is for the problem statement is there are limited study by Malaysia researcher, which is uh, the only source that we can access is through the industry for WRD, which is the new policies of our government to targeting the to promote the industry 4.0 of to Malaysia manufacturing company, and it is like proper preparedness and strategic plan. Therefore, the self-assessment tool need the self the readiness assessment are proposed as self-assessment tool in Microsoft Excel. The objective of the study is to develop a self-assessment tool for measuring the readiness of manufacturing industry to implement Industry Revolution 4.0. Next is to evaluate and refine the self-assessment tool that developed by Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Scope of study is the refining the existing assessment tool and propose self-assessment by using Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So the research method for this project is by using survey from the practitioner and consultant that are familiar with the Industry 4.0. So, for next is for the literature review. As we know, the Industry 4.0 is come from the German government, which is try to redefine the manufacturing position following the global economic crisis. From the picture above, we can see the from the Industry 4.0 from the mechanism of the steam and water power into the mass production using the electrical power, and then automate production using computer and IT system. And the term of Industry 4.0 is the smart factories that contain a lot of autonomous system, IoT and machine learning. So this is this all the technology in the Industry 4.0 that might be implemented for some manufacturing company. So the assessment tool for implementation Industry 4.0. So what is meaning by the assessment tool is it is the evaluation of the readiness of the Industry 4.0, which is the approach for determining industry readiness for Industry 4.0 adoption. Some of the readiness assessment are called maturity model, which is evaluate maturity the organization towards Industry 4.0. Next, um, the critical factor in measuring the readiness. This is some of points that the researcher point from the different researcher about the critical factor of measuring readiness. Next is going to be this shows of the existing Industry 4.0 readiness assessment and maturity model. Uh, for the first one is from the Impulse. Next is PricewaterhouseCoopers, which is the online and also the MITI. The three of these is the online self-assessment, the online readiness assessment, and next is the Rockwell Automation, the organizations that provide the readiness assessment to the customer. The methodology of the research is uh, we firstly assessing the online search related to the readiness industry by searching it the technical paper online, and then developing the self-assessment to prepare in the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. After that, done the survey by the practitioner in Industry 4.0 that are familiar with Industry 4.0, then collect their feedback and refine the Microsoft Excel. This shows the research procedure. Next is this is the development of self-assessment tool. As you can see, the upper pictures of the in the slide is which is the previous self-assessment tool that prepared by me in the PSM one, and the pictures on the below is the refine of the self-assessment tool. So, so the refining of the self-assessment tool is based on the improvement suggestion from the respondent. This is the sampling and target respondent. Firstly, creating a questionnaire for evaluation and conducting the evaluation survey. The data is gathered into the data is evaluated by the survey feedback, and then it will go to next process, which is refining the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for self-assessment. Okay, for the result of the discussion, firstly, it's going to the survey planning and the implementation. As I mentioned, from the methodology, first evaluate the self-assessment tool, uh, Microsoft Excel assessment, and then into the analyze the weakness of Microsoft Excel spreadsheets for the readiness assessment. Then gaining the respondent suggestion and opinion towards the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. After that, the last of the step will be the refine the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This is the result from the questionnaire on the background of the respondent. You can see the firstly, there are few of the respondent have a lot of have there are few respondent have more than 2 years experience in the industry 4.0. And next is the role of the industry. One of the respondent which is a director is the company, and this is three of them are engineers and three of them are supervisors, and two of them from certain the education background of the respondents. Most of them are which is five have a bachelor degree, and two of them have their master, and one of them have PhD. Next is the number of vote. This is the voting, which is the the critical factor that respondent thinks the most critical, which is uh, the top three of the critical factor that chosen by the respondent is first strategies and innovation and technology. Okay, this is the result from the questionnaire survey of degree community questions. As we can see, most of them really support the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, which is their their level of agreement. Most of it is strongly agree and agree. Only a few of them are neutrals about the agreement on the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. This the refinement of the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet for self-assessment tool for readiness to implement Industry 4.0. Okay, we can see for the first thing is the respondent suggests to improve the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet by provide the guideline. So the initial spreadsheet there is no guideline, which is the users need to explore and how to do the assessment. So after the refined spreadsheet, a simple guideline in the separate page is provided. Next is some suggestions that the Microsoft Excel does not have any security. Actually, the security to the Excel spreadsheet can be secure by added password to protect the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. But this is because the draft Microsoft Excel readiness assessment given to the respondent is the open source. Next is the shift vector description. For the shift vector description, there are no description on the spreadsheet of critical factor. So the description is added to provide some knowledge to the user what's means by the critical factors, so it's easily the user to recognize what is the point of views of the shape factor. And for the old section, some of the respondents suggest to change the clicking point, which is the button. Uh, from the initial spreadsheet, the button is at the upper pages, so it could be harder for the user to scroll up again after assess the readiness assessment. The conclusion that can be made is the first objective of the study was achieved by completing the self-assessment tool for the measuring of the readiness manufacturing industry to implement Industry Revolution 4.0 in the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. And the second objective of the study, which to evaluate and refine the self-assessment tool for the measuring readiness, is also achieved by refining the Microsoft Excel as shown before the initial spreadsheet and after refining spreadsheet. Okay. The next is there are few of respondents that have more than 2 years of experience in the readiness experience, and most of them are less than 2 years assessment. This is might caused by the readiness assessment for implementing the supervisor quite new in our country, since the industry for WRD that introduced by our government, which is a national policy that aiming to transform the manufacturing sectors, and that's this for a period of 2018 and 2005. The policies is introduced on 2018, so it's quite hard to find that lot of it's hard to find that the people that have more than 5 years experience in the readiness assessment. So finally, the readiness evaluation will provide information to organization or the element of the company need to focus more on to increase the business potential in the manufacturing industry. I think it could be more easier for the company if they knew what need to do to improve their performance of company. That's all for me. Thank you.